We've got Mina, we've got Dan. Week 15 getting underway last night in Tampa with the Falcons visiting the Bucs in prime time. And
and here is Kyle Pitts getting his butt down in the end zone.
The Falcons still down 28-26, and after forcing a Bucs punt, 50 seconds left in the game, Cousins deep to David Sills for the 21-yard catch.
This is a big catch. Sills had an early drop in this game, came back, made the catch of the night for his team.
Ooh, you saw the frustration by Mike Evans, and man, Kirk Cousins was good in this game. Gonzalez there,
Great
kick through the uprights is good. As you can tell, these Falcons able to win this, and Mayfield not happy about it. Let's hear from Todd Bowles, who also was not happy about the outcome after the See, what has you most concerned about the Bucs after last night?
One, they got the nicest man in the world cursing in press conferences. Todd Bowles doesn't raise his voice at anyone.
Yeah.
This is letting the quiet part be said out loud. And I think why Todd Bowles is so emotional is because it's his defense that's been letting him down. You go back to the Buffalo game with Baker Mayfield playing well there, and then now last night you have a 2-touchdown lead. You get a big fumble that puts you up, and now you have to make a stop, whether it's Sills or it's Kyle Pitts or it's Bijan Robinson. There were too many busts in coverages, too many wide open players for Kirk Cousins to distribute the football to, and that's why you see that frustration. That's a personal frustration with Todd Bowles. This team started the season 6-2 and have now lost 5 of their last 6 games. This was a defense that used to apply pressure, create turnovers, and play with physicality. We're not seeing that from them down the stretch.
Yeah, I agree with you. I will say, you know, Mayfield's interception does deserve blame in addition to the defense there in a crucial moment near the end of the game. And that's something we have seen over the course of the season. But, you know, watching the defense and watching Kirk Cousins light them up as he has over the last couple of years when he's played, I think what strikes me, RC, is just when they don't get pressure, it just feels like there's too many places that a quarterback like Cousins can attack. And in this case, you can point to the absence of Zion McCollum. Obviously, they went after Kendall Vildor, who's the backup in coverage. But when they don't get pressured this season, they struggle. They're 28th in yards per play allowed when they don't get pressure. And pressure hasn't simply been consistent enough, especially when they don't blitz. So from top to bottom, you know, we can talk about the offense. The offense finally got healthy. Mike Evans came back. He looked, frankly, incredible.
Yes, he did.
But this defense, when I think about this team and their struggles, is going to be the thing that I worry about the most.
Yeah, Dan, obviously the Falcons are out of playoff contention. I mentioned earlier, you picked him yesterday. You had seen some stuff on the tape that maybe you felt like was going to give him an advantage in this one. What'd you like about what you saw from him last night?
Well, number one, ever since Kirk Cousins come back, he's played at a pretty good clip, and their offense has got back to some traditional stuff. Putting him under center has massively helped their play-action pass game, so kudos to Atlanta on that. Kyle Pitts' use. This wasn't just a one-game thing for Kyle Pitts either. Last night, he was great, but this has kind of been the trend for this offense, the way that they use to get matchups for him, to attack coverage for him, and with no Drake London, you guys kind of made the point. For this offense to just consistently throw the ball to David Sills and Kyle Pitts, and the Bucs defense not be able to stop them. So I want to give credit to Atlanta for continuing to lean into that. But on top of the Tampa point, they've lost back-to-back weeks to the New Orleans Saints and the Atlanta Falcons. Both teams are basically out of the playoffs. One, because in many ways, Emeka drops the game-tying touchdown last week. And then, listen, I love Baker. Baker's got to hit that crosser last night on 3rd down. He has to make that throw. If he makes it, they win. This team's reeling right now.
Yeah, you heard Baker say it off the very top of our show. It's must-win for them for the rest of the way. They got to win out. The Bucs lose. That means advantage Panthers. They lead the NFC South in December for the first time in a decade. I guess we should be laughing, but my God. Okay, good job, Panthers. All right, time to talk Rams offense, which has been so good this year with 3 tight ends on the field, known as 13 personnel. Of course, the trend started in Week 6 at the Ravens, the start of that win streak. And despite not taking a single snap before that, LA still has more plays, yards, and touchdowns than any other team all season. Dan, how are the Rams able to find so much success with this particular 13 personnel grouping?
Yeah, there's a simplicity in their run game, and then the tight ends are so good blocking in space. And I think about, okay, is Detroit going to cover them in these receivers like they did Dallas? If they do, this is why the tight ends matter. So they'll just run outside zone. And the big thing is their ability to, one, double double team, and then 2, those tight ends are blocking little people down the field then. And I don't care, you're not putting jumbo personnel on the field to stop this on first down. Then they'll run duo. The great thing about their duo is it's not just a front side hitting run game. It is a backside hit run as well. And so these backs have got great vision. And we've talked about this all season with this offense, that keeper game. This looks just like that outside zone that I showed initially. The defense is fully committed to stopping it. And then once again, we're throwing 5-yard passes that go for 15 yards. I think this is a huge challenge for Detroit, because if Detroit wants to cover in kind of that double team world with Puka and Devontae, they did the way they did with George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb. This is a different beast when it comes to their ability to put their tight ends on the field and run the football if I was LA.
Yeah, I think they'll use it, 13 personnel, the tight ends, but I gotta say, these wide receivers versus the Detroit corners is a big mismatch that regardless, whether you've got 2 of them or 3 of them, I actually would want to get 3 of them on the field, because if you got Puka Nacua in the slot, he's going up against 5'9" Meek Robertson. DJ Reed is 5'9". We've seen them really struggle downfield over the last few weeks. To me, Matthew Stafford, and we think about it from Detroit's standpoint, it's such a mismatch that you almost have to play the variance game with your pass rush. I know you're nervous about blitzing Matthew Stafford, as you should be, but if they don't get him on the ground in this game, I struggle to see how they stop the Rams through the air when I look at these rosters and I see those mismatches at wide receiver versus quarterback.
I think what Dan and Mean just highlighted is the fact that the Los Angeles Rams can really just do anything. They have a great run scheme that's versatile and diverse, and they have a pass game that's amazing because their quarterback can make every throw. Puka Nacua is absolutely phenomenal at every level of the field, and Devontae Adams has become some sort of red zone merchant. Right? So you can do everything, and so now the onus is on Kelvin Shepherd, who, if you go throughout this season, has done really well in big games being game plan specific. You think about the Tampa Bay game early on Monday night, and then also now what we saw against the Dallas Cowboys. I think the difficulty for him is, what are you planning to stop? What personnel will you play defensively? Will you apply zone or man? How will you pressure? And I think all of those variations of what the Los Angeles Rams can do is going to make it extremely difficult on Kelvin to match Sean McVay play for play.
Yeah, guys, this Rams offense reminds me a lot of the Eagles offense from last year, in the realm of, okay, we can run it, and they'll run it as much as they want, and they can run it explosively or efficiently, and it's become explosive. That was the thing that was lacking. Then it's like, okay, well, we got to bring another person down to the party to stop the run, and then it's pass game, different world than Philadelphia was capable of last year. And so now it's this offense that really is the most difficult offense in the NFL to defend, because you can't necessarily stop the run on a consistent basis unless you have that extra person down there, and you really can't cover these guys both on the perimeter one-on-one.
Yeah, and then Matthew Stafford is orchestrating the whole thing. Stafford has 26 pass touchdowns in man coverage, by far the most in the NFL. But he has 9 against zone, which ranks third, third best.
What it means is he's good all the time.
He's really good.
All the time.
All right, let's get to some more information here. Time for AI-generated fantasy insights provided by IBM. And this week, Lions running back Jahmyr Gibbs, number 3 on the list of Watson X Boom projections. He's projected to have a high of 22 points versus the Rams. So if you have Jahmyr Gibbs on your fantasy team, listen, you wouldn't have him on your bench. You'd be starting him, but make sure you start him. We're back on NFL Live, and look at that, Phillip Rivers. It's just really been a fun week watching this. Phillip Rivers coming out of retirement nearly 5 years after his final game. Riley Leonard, a full participant in practice. So who's going to get the start on Sunday? Well, here's Colts head coach Shane Steichen earlier today.
I mean, you try doing this practice as best you can. Obviously, the game's a little different. The game speed will be a little different for him. So that'll be an acclimation period for him, if he's out there. But he's not here to save the season. He's here to be a great leader, a great teammate, go out there, operate the offense, get us in and out of the right plays. And that's the process. And that's the way he's taken it and flowing with it one day at a time and going through his process.
The hero, Phillip Rivers. All right, for more on what's going on in Indy, we welcome in our Colts reporter, Stephen Holder. Stephen, what more can you tell us about the Colts' plans at QB this weekend?
Well, Laura, the immediate plan, perhaps happening about right now, is for Steichen and Phillip Rivers to meet and to check some final last boxes, one of which is, how does he feel after 3 days of being on the field, after literally being on the couch? And as all those 40-something-year-olds out there know, how you feel matters a lot. I can attest. Beyond that, though, we have seen many indications about their plans this week, even if they aren't